Welcome to the She Will Shine podcast, where we bring you the real stories of female business owners. My name is Danielle Price and I'm the founder of She Will Shine, a supportive business network for women. It's time to give a voice to women in business and discover their journey. Hi everyone and welcome to the She Will Shine podcast. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the country on which we record this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past and present. Now on today's podcast, we have the lovely Julie Allen. Julie is the founder and web developer at Biz Yourself. She partners with each of her clients to deliver engaging, flexible and customised digital experiences, specialising in WordPress. Julie, welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been a while. I've wanted you on the podcast for a while.
You have been avoiding it.
You have been
avoiding it. I haven't been avoiding it.
Not anymore. You're here today.
I'm here today.
In person.
I'm here in person.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
So I wanted to ask you, Jules, I know you quite well, so the questions may be a bit repetitive to our conversations.
That's
off
okay.
there. But I wanted you to share with our audience, what did you want to be when you were in high school and you grew up?
When I grew up, I wanted to be a midwife, of all things, and did not end up being a midwife at all. So when I was about 15, I had my first job in childcare, and I used to leave high school, finish high school, and then walk up to the local primary school and then pick up about 5 or 6 kids, which wouldn't happen now, and then walk to the childcare centre and then work from, I don't know, whatever time, 4 o'clock, pick kids up at 3:30, then walk and then work till about 6 o'clock at the childcare centre a few times a week. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I really wanted to be a midwife, but I had a very mixed bag of what I studied up to VCE. I got into a university in Kew to do midwifery, and then I deferred for a year and never went back.
Never went
there. Yep.
So what was the next?
I got a job straight out of school in what they used to call Girl Friday.
Oh, yes.
I
didn't know this, Jules. I'm learning new things too.
So, yeah, Girl Friday is what they called it, but admin work, basically everything that was done in the office, it was just me. So I did all of it, answered phones, did the accounts, cups of tea, coffee.
Whatever needed to be done. Was your girl.
Yep. And then why they called Girl Friday, I have no idea.
I have no idea. We'll look it up.
I'm not sure. So I worked there straight out of high school, and then through that I always loved, I was really good at maths, loved maths. So, and I had done maths 1 and 2 or A and B or whatever it is right through high school. So I decided then to be an accountant.
So you like the numbers?
I did love the numbers, yes.
Quite a change from childcare though.
It's very different.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That was where you wanted to be?
I don't know. Just where I wanted to be.
So
I don't know if I wanted to be there. It's just what happened.
Yeah.
So straight, yeah. So so then I started studying.
And so you graduated from accounting, I presume, got a job?
Yes, got a job. While I was studying, I was accounts payable.
Yep.
I moved from there because that was in Heidelberg. It was a good hour's drive from where I was. And then I ended up getting another job, which was like half an hour away. I was there for a long time, was doing accounts payable there. And then, I ended up wanting to study and, studied, did my Bachelor of Accounting, and there you go. Yeah.
Did you think you'd ever start your own business in that time?
I always wanted my own business. So since I was a little kid.
So your mum had her own business?
No one.
No one had their own business?
No one had their own business. No, they all, were employed by other people.
Yeah.
But I, I was always interested. I suppose that's why I ended up getting into maybe finances, because I was always trying to work a part-time job, earn money, come up with ideas. How can I make some more money? How can I do this?
Yeah.
Like what they call a side hustle now. I was always trying to do something. I did Avon, and I did all these things.
From Girl Friday to Avon.
Girl Friday to accountant. Did all these, wanted to always try and earn money or make, try and get better, save money, buy my first house, all those sorts of things. So, but I always wanted to work for myself. I really struggled working for other people.
Why do you think that is?
I don't like rules of time frames.
Other people's schedules?
Other people's schedules, hated meetings. What's the point of a meeting? Like in an accounting firm or in an accounting, like you're always having meetings and they're unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think out of 10 meetings, one is needed and the other, and so you got to try and fit in the meeting, try and fit in work at the same time. I was always late, always late to work, but always staying back an hour and a half after.
Yeah. So you get the work done.
But
on your terms.
On my terms.
Yeah.
Because it was always done.
Yeah.
So it was like, but you struggle with that boss.
Yeah.
Hated the gossiping in offices and stuff like that. But yeah, so the working for someone else and the time frames, and this is when you have morning tea, this is when you're going to have lunch, this is all these things that just didn't gel with my personality.
So what you decided to leave, or you had other ideas? What happened?
I ended up, it's funny, it took me to have my first daughter, fall pregnant, to think that this is the time. Couldn't have made it more harder for myself if I tried, because trying to start a business with a newborn baby, was crazy when I look back now. But it gave me the courage to do it, because I went on maternity leave, but didn't know, look, in my heart, I thought, I'm not going to go back, but kept it open. That's what you do. So decided that I would leave, went on maternity leave, have my daughter, and that I would start something in my own business. Yeah. I ended up flowing into mortgage brokering.
I'm discovering a whole heap of things I didn't know.
So I left accounting about 6 months to 8 months, just a little bit after I had fallen pregnant with my daughter Elise. I got, not studied up, but, learned the ropes with mortgage brokering. It sort of was easy for me because of the accounting background, fell into that. And it was something that I thought I could do, that worked around having a child. Yeah. So I could work a bit at night.
Yes, and flexible.
It was flexible. Yeah. So I thought I'll do that. So,
So you got 3 kids.
3 children. So I've got Elise, who's nearly 20 now, and I've got Sarah and Jane's twins. Yeah. And they're nearly 17.
So did you continue the brokering while you had all the kids, or?
I did. So I did the mortgage brokering up till the age of Sarah and Jane's being 5, and I really enjoyed it. I loved helping people, all that sort of thing, and helping them understand their finances, planning stuff, getting the applications in, and getting, either their first home or they want an extension, or that sort of thing. But I think, I don't know, I just started to, after when Sarah and James got to about 5 and they were just about to start primary school, I thought, I don't know if I like this anymore.
Yeah.
But I had been waiting for that time because it was going to be easier for me, because they were going to be in prep, and and I was working nights, waiting for my husband to come home, go and see clients at night time, going on the computer, filling in the applications.
I'm exhausted just hearing you say all that.
Doing all that, in between, during the day, juggling the twins and Elise and all that kind of thing with what's involved in looking after kids. And then it was getting me down a bit, but then I thought, just hang on there, because with mortgage brokering as well, you get a trail income. So it's quite nice where you're getting paid for something that you did a couple of years ago. In fact, I still now get paid for some of the loans that I did way back then. So I was kind of holding on because it was like a really good thing to be able to earn income that way. So I waited all this time for them to go to school, and then when they started primary school, I went, I don't want to do this anymore, and stopped and just didn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
you had the headspace to kind of
and it was weird because it was like waited all that time to be able to do it, and then went, nah, don't want to do it anymore.
But isn't that good? Like, you had the option, you had the power to say, actually, I'm not enjoying this anymore.
Yeah. And it took me a bit of a juggle.
Yeah.
But like you said, and I say to my kids now, or anyone younger, or anyone, you can change things. You can adapt your skills and put them into other things. And I especially say this to kids, nothing goes to waste. Even if at the time you think, I don't want to spend 3 years doing that, or I don't want to study that for 3 years and not end up doing that particular job or that career out of that particular study. But it's just things evolve, things change, and that's what it has happened for me.
I think it's interesting because I think kids these days, I think it's easier for them to say, yes, I don't like this, Mom, I'm going to change. I don't know if that's a generational thing, but I think our generation, it's a lot harder to kind of go, oh, actually, I can change.
Yeah, well, I think because our parents got a job, like they stayed in their jobs for 20 and 30 years. It wasn't the thing to do is swap around. Like you chose a career, you stuck to it, and that's all you did.
That was it.
So even, and you also, I don't know, you're a little bit frowned upon. Well, family or extended family, like grandparents and aunties were like, why are you leaving? What a good job.
Yeah.
Well, why are you changing something that's working?
You've got a stable income.
Yeah.
You can work around the kids.
That's right.
Stick in the boxes.
Yeah.
But it was your own internal box.
And it was a lot of late night working. And even though the money was lucrative in regards to the trail income, and that was nice to have, especially, like with I wasn't enjoying it anymore. Yeah.
So what was next?
So next, next was a business that I created called Moops and Hoops.
Oh, yes.
So
you want to start getting crafty?
I want to get crafty. I've always been creative. Yeah, extremely creative since I was, I don't know, out of the womb. Yeah. No, literally, like I've always, loved. I've got boxes of craft stuff, boxes of, you name it. I want to make it. I don't want to buy it. I want to make it.
So if I look in your house, Jules, am I going to say, oh yeah, I did that? I
did that. I'm finished. Like I want my own garage. Like we've got a massive garage, but it's full of other stuff. If I had property, I would have a garage that's 20 cars worth of space just for my projects.
The she shed.
Yeah, the she shed. Yeah, big she shed. Yeah. So I got into designing my own. I've still got actually all my designs. So I designed one that it came from my daughter. She was, I think at the time she was struggling going to sleep, and this is where it evolved from. And I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to have something like a heat pack, but not in the shape of a square or rectangle? So we designed this rabbit, and that was Moops. It was called Moops, and then Hoops just kind of, I don't know, Moops and Hoops. We couldn't just go.
It just works.
I don't know. It just called Moops and Hoops. And that was the time for me where it was, Facebook had just kind of had been only just around a little bit. So you're getting onto Facebook, you're creating a presence there, and had to create a website. And me being me, decided I'll create my own website. We ended up getting into the magazine, the Herald Sun home magazine in the middle, and it exploded. Yeah. So the business just went, and I'm sewing these and embroidering people's names, and then I added on more different little characters, and it was good. It was successful and popular, but I never wanted to. In the end, I couldn't just do it myself. Yeah, it was too much to do everything, and it meant getting someone else to sew, and it wasn't viable. Yeah, and in the end, that kind of
How many years do you think you did that for?
I think it was like 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of this transitional period from doing the mortgage brokering for such a long time, because I think I probably did it for 5. I did it at least 5-7 years mortgage brokering. Yeah. To then getting into the more creative and getting out of books and finance and that kind of thing, because I've always liked making stuff. Yeah. So I was like, how can I make something, again, a business? And I was not going to work for anyone else. Yeah. That was
never an option.
No, it was like, I did at that point, I thought maybe I might one time. So what was like 7 years out of working for a company. But yeah, just thought,
no, it wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So did that a little bit.
And so then when you developed the website.
Yeah, I really loved it.
You found something.
I found it. Then I started helping a few other people do their websites. And then I did some actual study and training in web development and learnt lots more. And then it just evolved. And I had a business, Biz Yourself, the name Biz Yourself, registered for something else at the time. And at this stage, I started to change the way I thought about things. I was like, don't get so bogged down on names and things like that. But Biz Yourself still was about being yourself in business, busying yourself out there, like getting yourself out in business. And the website and creating a website is about getting, you know, yourself out there online. And so that's why I went, look, let's just keep the name and let's just keep rolling sort of thing. So we certainly, I couldn't be called Moves and Hooves. Like.
Well, you could, but it could be a bit confusing.
No. Yeah, it's interesting looking back.
Childcare.
Account.
Girl Friday.
Yeah.
Accounting.
Yes.
Mortgage broking.
Yes.
To a craft business, sewing things for kids, and then to web developing.
Yes.
It's quite an evolution.
It is.
And I just love that you took those risks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people say, oh, you're crazy, Jules. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're from this to this.
They probably did think I was crazy.
You had good stable income and blah, blah, and then you're doing this and running yourself ragged or...
Yeah, I don't... Like, because I was in accounting for, like, it was like that kind of financing type thing for, 14 years. Yeah. So kind of, so then to move around or then mortgage brokering, but the childcare, loved that kind of thing. I really loved kids and that sort of thing. But I don't know. I'm not sure what the whole, I want to change. Yeah. I want to change. And as I keep saying to people, it's like I just say, give it a go, give it a crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the next thing needs to it
leads to the next thing and kind of evolved. It wasn't kind of like, it just evolved. So me not wanting to do that because I was crafty, I just went, and I think it's what I needed. It's what I was kind of yearning for at that stage, is to be creative again, and not be stuck behind a computer and books and that kind of thing. So filling in forms and all that. So it just evolved. Yeah.
So Biz Yourself, you started 10 years
ago, right? Something about that. Yeah. So.
And how did you find that? Because I guess, you know, you're now putting yourself out there as a service. Similar to, I guess, your mortgage broking.
Yeah. So service and product based, so different.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what I did. I found 1 minute you're doing service, I was like, I don't want to do service based, which was the mortgage. You've got to try and find the leads, and that was. Finding leads in that industry can be really hard work. So, and then you go, I'll do a product because then that's easier. I can promote the product.
Well, that's what I think. I've never had a product business, right? And so I'm like, surely product businesses. Always the grass is always greener.
Yeah, you think that, but I don't think it's not. You still everyone they all have their challenges, don't they? So that had its challenges of promoting, getting it out there. At the time, like I said, Facebook was new, no Instagram. And even websites were evolving and changing from your little box square type thing, programming, internet, IT, all that has changed from when I've started to now. It's massive, huge amount of changes. And the way you promote yourself or the way it's designed or just technology. Yeah. So
do you, like I said, it's changed a lot. So you've had to kind of learn a whole heap of different skills and continue to learn in your 7 years as Biz Yourself.
Yes.
How have you found that?
I love it because I love learning. I really do, but I don't retain. I'm not great at retaining. So I don't retain information that I'm not using all the time. So, but I do love learning. I'm someone who's always looking up something. If I hear about something, I'm on the internet looking it up, researching it, understanding it. So learning new technology or learning this, maybe it was my way of wanting to discover some more information, more things, learn a new skill. That's the exciting part. Is learning something new. Yeah. Well,
that would make sense then because
that's what I've always.
Yeah, because especially with accounting though.
Yeah.
Accounting is very black and white.
Yes.
There's a system and a process.
Yeah.
X plus Y equals Z or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And you might have been yearning for something.
That's right.
Yeah. You could learn more and.
Well, you just more. Yeah, and you're evolving and you're creating. So I kind of love what I do because there is an analytical side of it.
Yeah.
There's a process and the analytical side of, you know, the database of people landing on your website and what happens and all that kind of thing. Then there's the creative side as well. So I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And to help people grow, you know, in their business, you know, using your website and understanding the stats. So there's that side of it, but then there's the design side of it and all that. So I get that creative buzz out of me as well.
And so your kids are older now.
They are. So nearly 20 and twins are nearly 17.
17, that's right.
Yeah.
What do they, because like mum's always run a business.
Yeah.
Like, and your husband runs his own business.
He does too, yeah.
So for them, like, do they talk about owning their own businesses?
A little bit, yeah. Not as much as probably what I'd like.
Yeah.
But I always say, because they'll say, oh, I don't know what to do. So they're going through that stage of I don't know what I want to be, they're trying to just figure that all out now. And they kind of going well in that, better than what I was at that age. But I'm kind of more like, well, yeah, that's great. Learn that. But you can then get your own business.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You just have your own business. So it's not like everything out there, any skill you have, just turn it into a business.
Yeah.
So, but I'm always around for them. Like I'm always there. I'm always around. So.
And you've structured, like you said, you want the flexibility.
Yeah.
Even when you were doing the mortgage broking, you made sure that it was at night so that the kids were sorted and all that.
It does your head in though.
Yeah, of course it does.
It does. Looking back now, I probably wouldn't. The older me would have said to the younger me, just take a year or two off. Enjoy the process. If you can financially. Like if you can't, you can't. You've got to but I come from just living with my mum and just mum and I. So making sure we had enough money and was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So I think even if I didn't have to work, I had this thing that I had to, that which I think is a bit sad. Like I look back, like I say to any new mums, like
if you can afford it,
try and not think you're going to get lost and you're like, it's such a special time.
Yeah.
I feel like I want that time back again.
Yeah, now that they're grown.
Yeah, like would love to have that time again and just not maybe so much when I had the first, like one, but when you've got three. So I had 3 under 3, or then, 4-year-old and 2 1-year-olds, and I'm trying to still work. And yeah, it can get really frustrating and, you think they're the problem.
Yeah.
Because you're wanting to do something, but actually all you want is to be with them.
Yeah.
So
it's a hard time though, like thinking back sort of my own kind of progression and evolution and all this kind of stuff. Because you lose yourself, right? You suddenly you quit your
like
job,
you
you've gone on maternity leave, you don't have that identity anymore. And that was a big part of who you are.
Huge.
And then overnight you turn into a mum.
Yes.
Literally
overnight it's like I still don't even feel like I'm a mum now.
Yeah.
I'm a mum.
You've had how many
years? Yeah. Like what? A mum.
But like our perception of mums when we were young is different to how we perceive ourselves now.
Yes.
And I think that kind of plays on your mind when you kind of have the time to think about. And it changes again, like when your kids start primary school, it does change.
Everything evolves and changes.
Something else.
It does. It changes, and how they, like who I am today, I'm not that same person when I did leave and went on that maternity leave. I am still in a way, like I always believe there's still that little 5-year-old. You've always got that 5-year-old in you. I really believe that. But then when you look back in 5-year chunks, say, like you thought who you were at 20 was who you were, and then you're 25, you look back and go, no. So yeah, big steps, big changes, especially with the family.
Yeah.
Like you're like looking back. That's what I'm saying. Like it would have been nice to have just chill, just relax, just take a bit of time out and just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
But you kind of, I don't know, I started something and I wanted to just keep, I couldn't just say, which is sad, I'm a mum at home. I at the time had to still have something else, which was my business.
Yeah.
And now I think it would have been, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's totally okay.
Yeah. Now you can wait for the grandkids and then you can
hanging out.
Grandma.
Well, maybe.
No, I was going to say, just wait a minute longer. Not quite ready.
Maybe a couple of years. But yeah, if they did whatever, there's worse things in life.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. 100%. So like I'm finding now, so my kids are, well, one's a high school, one's nearing the end of primary school, so almost high school age, and they're getting their independence.
Yeah.
And I love, Jules, watching you parent, because I just think you're such a good example of, you've got such beautiful relationships with your children.
Yeah.
And it's so important to you.
100%. Yeah.
But not in a kind of parent-kid, so parents up in your kids down there sort of scenario. It's a beautiful friendship and relationship that you've developed with them. Do you think, because you've been working for yourself, that like it's allowed you to do things that you couldn't do if you were working for someone else?
100%. I mean, you do pay a little. I was going to say pay a price. Like there was times years where I would, pick children up at 3:30. You're there with them. You're looking after them. You might go to a park. I was always go to parks. I can't stand parks, and I'd pick a park without a swing because I was not going to be doing this. So no park. But I don't think my kids thought parks had swings till they maybe got older and went, "Oh, parks have swings." Oh my God, that's new. So go to a park, then make dinner, baths. I was really routine orientated then. I'm so much more laid back.
You had twins though, let's remember
so
that.
Just
that's a different
total routine. But then I would work then at 8:30 at night till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night to make up for the time that I kind of felt like I finished at 3 or 2:30 to kind of stop and then start again. And that was my routine for a long time, but I was never going to change it. I wanted to take them to school. I always wanted to pick them up. It was just something that I wanted to do. I couldn't get picked up. I didn't always have mum when I was at home. And that's just how it was. It's fine. But I wanted to be able to do that. And I suppose that's why I've kept going with the business. Yeah. But I'm always available. Like I get messages now, if school's finished early, can you come and get me?
Anyway, bloody hell.
Yeah. Just stuff like that.
And then you get the
I'm always available. Why can't you come and pick me up? And if I am in a meeting, like if they tried now, I'll be like, no, I'm busy. No, you're not, Mum. Come on, come and get me. So I have, the flexibility. You can make it really work for you. Yeah, like
100%.
You've got to be disciplined though, otherwise you'll be working till midnight.
Yeah.
And if you've got a product-based business, you're packing stuff, you're doing stuff, but again, I'm kind of like have your boundaries, have some time because you burn out.
And so it has to be sustainable.
You'll burn out. You just do, which I have done.
Yeah. So like when did that kind of happen? How did you
the burnout?
Burn out? Yeah.
I've always struggled. So even with little, I've always struggled with anxiety, but never knew it was anxiety.
Yeah.
So looking back, no now, but then at the time, like what is happening? What's going on with me? And I'm kind of like this introverted extrovert. So everyone, you kind of like, you can't be, you're confident, so how could you be struggling with anxiety? You don't even know you are. So you wonder what's wrong with you, but you push through. And so I ended up, I think, can't even remember how old. I think my oldest daughter would have been around about grade 6, so 11, around 11 months.
10 years ago.
Yeah, but and just everything just got too much. So work, family, just felt pushed, not heard.
Yeah.
And you just keep pushing through and you're ignoring how you're feeling, you're ignoring your body. And I just fell in a heap and was really depressed, like really horribly depressed. I had actually gone through depression when I was younger too, about the age of 14. So I kind of went,
So there was sort of bells going, hang on, this is the same thing.
This is similar feeling, but you don't, it kind of evolves. And I got really badly depressed and ended up have awesome support, but still it's just you at the end of the day and I was running the business. Yeah. So you're getting your kids to school, but then you come home, and fall in a heap. So and you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
This is when I was doing Biz Yourself actually too. So I was doing websites. I had commitments. I was trying to fulfill, getting deadlines, meet deadlines. And those deadlines were creeping out, for a couple of days or a week or something like that. And in the end, it just all got too much. I ended up in hospital, Mitcham Private Hospital, and went on a program, and it was one of the best things. I was embarrassed at the time, and it was a time when I never talked about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk about anxiety, didn't talk about depression.
There was less in mainstream society about it back then as well. Yeah.
So now I'm an advocate. I speak up when if someone asks, like now, or other times I'm completely different about it now. Yeah. It needs to be talked about more and understood, and which I think a lot more people are now. But that was the start of, for 5 years, I had deep clinical depression 3 times.
Yeah.
So, and what I've discovered is it's kind of for, I think, a lot of people, but for me, your nervous system gets affected.
Yeah.
To a point where you are then, after you kind of get your head in a zone of working through your day-to-day, your physical body and your nervous system has been shot to pieces, and you're actually healing that way again, and that takes however long, and then you've got to be careful if you don't look after yourself again. Yeah. You're going to fall down that rabbit hole again.
The cycle.
So there was this cycle that would continue.
Yeah. How was it like? It would have been really, I can only imagine how difficult it was, but like, you're still getting the kids to school.
Yeah.
All that stuff that still has to be done.
Yeah.
And then kind of smiling at the, you know what I mean?
It's hard. Really hard. I'm really, like, when I see anyone else, like, my heart just goes out, like, because I know what it's like. It's such a hidden, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. This is the thing. Yeah. You've got to do what you got to do. I think and fatigue, so fatigued, like literally drive the kids to school, go on the driveway, basically nearly fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like, not wanting to fall asleep, but you're so fatigued you fall asleep nearly in the car, and then you're like, hang on a minute, I'm running a business here, I've got things to do. Yeah. But depression can get to a point where you can't do any of those things. Yeah. You don't actually even feel it. You haven't got a choice. So it's not even that the person just is on lazy. Yeah. And it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And so how have you, I know, in the past since I've known you, there's been, times when you've kind of needed that extra time for yourself. And I guess when those sort of warning bells sort of start ringing again, how do you, as a business owner, as a mum, as a person, as a woman, how do you kind of center yourself again and kind of get the help and the support that you need to keep going and do all the things?
For me, so I do yoga, but try not to do too much, which for me, I've always been someone who has jammed in lots. So that's been a learning curve for a while, since probably then, and not learn, like, still do the same thing. And then now to a point where if you turn your phone off, you don't go on socials, whatever is really, go and lie down for a little bit. I mean, I'm always having naps, go and shut off. Outside, I garden. I love gardening. So it's like when I'm working on a website and I'm full on into that, I'll have my hour break outside in the garden, have quick bite eat, but I'm gardening. I'm getting fresh air. Yeah. I walk with your dog. Yeah. Powerful, really powerful. So you do slip off a bit though. So it's like, maybe you'd be walking the dog every day when I'm feeling really low or whatever. And then you kind of might drop off. Yeah. But then you got to go, come on. It's part of keeping mentally healthy. It's part of keeping that nervous system balanced, in check. And say no to overworking yourself. Yeah.
Having those boundaries.
Definitely having those boundaries and being really clear on them, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who's left. Yeah. Like, even if you've got support, which is what I have, you might have the most supportive family. The kids are pretty good at and being honest with them. So I've been got to a point where don't hide this. They need to understand and know this is something that is affecting them, and they're going to grow up, and also it may affect them or a friend or
That's right.
someone.
They're going to know someone.
Yeah, let's create. Yeah, so it's kind of like, and then
it's normalising it, isn't it?
Normalising it. Yeah. So it's just lists, diaries, saying no, having cut-off times, making sure those things. Like we all talk about, lots of people talk about self-care, but what is that? What is self-care? It's not about having a bath and
spending thousands of dollars on a retreat or
something.
It's not all.
It's little. For me, it is keeping regular, walking up to date, getting outside in the fresh air, gardening, and saying no and not over. Yeah. Also, what I do now is I plan leading up to school holidays. So not so much that I'm needed anymore to look after them in the school holidays, but it's good to have regular breaks. You can't just be a machine and just bash work out 365 days of the year. Look,
it's not going to work.
This is stupid.
Yeah. But why? Why do it? Yeah.
And if you're going to have your own business, I don't want a paid job.
That's right. You got to make it work.
So I can make that work.
That's what I say all the time. So business is not the easy option. Running a business is not the easy option.
It's not.
So you got to make sure that it works for you and what sort of life you want to lead.
Yeah, you have to keep. It's like being the train driver. You got to be in the train, and you've got to, or the car. You've got to guide it, because otherwise it'll just run all over you. And clients, people, 100%. It's 100% demanding, and you're on all the time, or you can be on all the time.
Yeah. That's right.
Or you can learn to shut off the business, so you've kind of got to be wearing these hats.
And I think that comes with time too, like experience and time.
Definitely.
I think we all go through the working late nights, and then it's like one day you wake up going, why am I doing this?
Yeah, why am I doing it? Because it's your baby. It's like you're excited and you found something for you, and if you're someone who's always wanted to work for yourself and
you love what you do.
You love what you do. You love what you do, but then relationships suffer, you suffer.
Yeah. It's downhill spiral.
Yeah, you got to be really clear on what you want to do, and you will, even if it takes a bit longer. There's no point jamming so much in that you end up.
No, that's right.
Feeling shit.
No, it's 100%. Do you think, Jules, that while I guess talking about the business, while you've been running that business, the anxiety and depression was the biggest challenge, or do you think there was other challenges?
Yeah, look, that's been a big challenge for me personally, learning about myself, learning about anxiety, parenting through that, having depression and anxiety, completely two different things, and having them at the same time is like horrid. So that's been a massive challenge, but there's been probably relationships with clients and how to, maybe they're not the right type of person to be working with, and then you don't want to offend anyone, you don't want to but you've got to kind of work out who you want to work with and who makes you heart sing when you're working and stuff like that, or the types of people that you want to work with. That's been challenging, but event like that's evolves as well. Look, having a business with children is challenging. It's challenging.
Yeah, nodding along, yes.
Yeah, it's really, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
It's just trying to, it's been 20 years now. I couldn't work for anyone else.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want me. Yeah. I don't want a cup of tea then. I want a cup of tea all day.
Leave when I want to leave. Excuse me.
I'm going to pick a kid up. They've fallen. Or, I think I want to go to yoga at 1:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, that I block those things in. But
it's once you have the freedom and the flexibility to
make it work,
to go back on that is a big thing.
Massive. I struggled with it. I always did struggle with it. So it kind of was. I don't know if I could have lasted.
I was, I got called at one of my jobs a clock watcher. Because when I was at work, I worked my butt off between 9 and 5.
And then you're like, I'm ready to go.
And then at 5 o'clock, I was like, I'm done, out the door. And so I was called a clock watcher.
And not though. Like when I was in the corporate world, you were told your hours were 9 to 5, but actually I wanted you from 8 till 6.
Yeah.
Well, no, my hours are 9 to 5, really.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and just because you want to go have a 3-hour pub lunch,
doesn't
mean that I want
to do that. Or you want to be seen, or maybe you're talking, I don't know, like I'm getting what I need done and I want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my business. I It's weird how, I don't know if that's how it still is. It probably is.
It might be different. Well, that's it. We don't know, do we?
I don't know.
I guess there is a little bit more flexibility since COVID. But how that actually plays out in a corporate business is another thing too. Jules, so we've talked about the challenges and things that you've particularly faced, but what's been the highlight?
Highlights. Work, anything.
Well, I guess along the journey, maybe business related.
Highlights for me.
Like business is intertwined with personal, but I guess kind of focused on that aspect.
Look, it's meeting. I'm at the moment. I'm working on something else that's new, and it's revolving around supporting small business.
Yeah,
it's web based, but through this, I love helping small business. Love it, especially women in business, because for obvious reasons, like. I'm a woman who started a business, wanted one since I was 5 years old, eventually got where I had one, and then it's evolved into other things. So seeing and helping people realise their dream or realise getting into something for them, but seeing them fresh and not saying much, but just watching them evolve and change is a really special thing too. And then you see, and you go along to different things, you meet lots of different women, and look, I've met men in business as well, and it's great sharing and listening to their stories. So that's probably my highlight, is actually helping people and feeling appreciated for my knowledge and what I can give them and help them get what they want, the end result for them.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I guess with websites, as with anything, it's a depiction of the business, and as a business owner, it's a depiction of who you are.
100%.
And so seeing it brought together professionally and brought to life, it's a confidence booster.
Oh, it does. It makes you feel great. I mean, the worst thing is, it's a bit, you send the send button, but you're nervous too, because they're going to like it. So you're working with people and you're bringing, their vision to life, and then they're excited about it. So that's a massive highlight. Yeah. But look, just working for myself now and sitting here talking, and it's been 20 years since I started working for myself. I don't know. I didn't know how long I'd do it for. But there's no way I shouldn't say never.
No, nothing in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I love working for myself, love helping people.
Yeah.
So.
Great example you are for your beautiful children.
Yeah, I hope so. Who knows? They probably have other things to say, Dan. Seriously. Come on.
Yeah, but as they get old, you know what I mean?
I hope so. Look, when they were like, toddlers and 5 and then 10, I'd be like, could they please move out? When are they moving out? Oh, God, it's too much. It's chaotic, and especially those dinner times when they're little, school runs, dinner, bath, you're helping them bath, dry, jammy, bed, and you're reading. So like when we used to have reading time where they're supposed to go through their readers at night time, you've got twins in separate rooms. They don't want their dad. They just want mum. I can't be in both places. I don't want to read that book. To now I'm like, please don't move out.
Yeah. It changes.
I never thought I would be like, please don't move out. Yeah. They drive me nuts, but I love them being around.
And being there for
them.
Yeah. It's been a joy, Julie, to finally get you into the hot seats.
And I was good.
You might not be good once we stop hitting record.
I wasn't naughty.
No, but seriously, it's a joy. Like,
thank you so much.
We have such a beautiful friendship.
We do have a lovely friendship, and thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you, Jules, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed Julie's story as much as I have, and we'll see you next time on the She Will Shine podcast.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode of the She Will Shine podcast, we invite you to check out shewillshine.com.au. She Will Shine is the essential support network you need to grow a thriving, meaningful business. We can help you grow your network, connect and develop genuine relationships, Be supported and support others in building and growing a successful business on your terms. Say goodbye to working alone and become a member at shewillshine.com.au.